Well, it finished Arsenal 4, Tottenham Hotspur 1. First ever North London derby for Thomas Frank. Brian, let's start with Spurs first. And I would say that the top brass at Tottenham will be very disappointed what happened with their team today.
Yeah, anyone that was connected with Spurs would be disappointed. I'm sure the players are annoyed. They didn't play well. They probably were a bit fearing the worst given this way they were set up for the match, which looked like it was inviting Arsenal onto them and hoping to get something on the counter-attack with the three fairly quick fellas that they had in the pitch. But, you know, they were outplayed. Arsenal were a better team. Anyone, Spurs supporters that have been here would have been really disappointed, and their support anyone watching on TV. But there was no doubt about it. They were totally outplayed. Arsenal were far, far superior. The game was totally one-sided until Carlson pulled that goal out of nothing. Brilliant lob, such as it was the only credibly decent moment Tottenham had in the whole game, I'd say. And Arsenal were excellent in the game. The defence were totally on top. Midfield were dominant. They had extra body in there, getting Calafiori in to join the other three, Eze, Royce, Supermendy, and the front three caused Spurs endless problems. But I think Spurs set up wrong, given that Arsenal hadn't got a centre half anyway. Marino was going to play, dropped off, doesn't go running in behind too much. He's not an out and out centre forward. And I kind of looked at it wondering, what's the point in Spurs playing three big centre halves?
It's like how much goes down to his team selection. Danso is a centre back. He's got Spence and Udogie as his wing backs. How much blame does he take for that?
Well, look, he's a very good manager. He did a great job at Brentford. And he's a very experienced manager. I'm sure they weighed it up. But, my reckon on it, and even when I saw the lineup, I said that's a strange one, given they don't have a centre forward. Like, it's not like Gyökeres was going to play through the middle, or even Havertz when he was fit. I'm saying, why is he playing three centre halves? They don't have anyone to mark unless they go into the middle of the pitch. I think the hope was that the two wing backs would pin Saka back a bit and get him back a bit forward, or maybe Trossard. That didn't come to be the case. Both Spurs full-backs were very, very poor in the game. But you have to hand it to Arsenal. Individually, they won all the duels, as they're called nowadays. I'd say the one-to-one, the scraps, where you say you get the better of your own man first, and then as a team we'll be better. But in the one-to-one scraps, they won every one of them almost until the last 25 minutes of the game. And then collectively they were quicker, they played with more intensity, more imagination when they got into the final third, and they were able to deliver those killing shots by Eze. Superb hat-trick for him. Brilliant overall performance.
Just on Spurs, we spoke as well after the game about the lack of steel in midfield. Bentancur and Pellegrini, they just were no match for the Arsenal midfield.
Well, I think
today.
they're steel, Stephen, but they don't have the mobility for the very top level. Otherwise, why are Bayern Munich letting them go? Well, Bayern Munich are playing.
Pellegrini, that is, yeah.
Yeah, Pellegrini, he's playing. He was at Fulham. He did very well. Bayern Munich signed him, and there was talk of other big clubs in interest in him. But there's a reason why Bayern Munich felt he wasn't good enough to play ahead of Goretzka and Kimmich in the middle of the field, for instance. Some of the younger players they brought in now, and you can see it. He just at the top level, he's not mobile enough, from my view. And the same with Bentancur, who's a neat and tidy footballer, hard, tough player as well, but just doesn't get around the pitch quick enough at the very top level of football, which this is. And today they were found out, they were exposed, just weren't good enough.
Would you be worried for Spurs in the long term across this season, Brian? They've yet to win at home. That's their first defeat on the road, but it's an embarrassing one against their arch rivals.
Well, look at Stephen, they can't do any worse than they did last year, finishing 17th place. I think they lost something like 22 matches last year. Like they'll be better than that. I mean, they've lost 3 home games. This is their first away game that they've lost this season. So they will be better overall, and they'll be harder to beat. They won't concede so many goals. Conceded 4 today. There'll be a review of that. But you wonder when their intention, Daniel Levy's gone now, and the intent seemed to be we want to have a go and trying to win trophies on a regular basis, having won the Europa League last year. And they've invested heavily in some players this year. They've taken Moani on loan. I don't need to buy him yet. They paid for Tell not involved today. They bought Kudos, spent big money to get him. They've paid big money to get Simmons as well. But they all look a little bit lightweight to me and not the right signings. Mwani looks like he's struggling for confidence, really. The Carlison doesn't look like he's right at it because he's been in and out of the team, he's had a few injuries and so on. So they've got problems, but they've got good defensive players in the centre-back position. The three centre-backs by today are all decent in the four. I think how they performed the three today, they weren't very good. The full-backs are good attacking full-backs, but they left Podro out, who was defensively probably the best of their full-backs, and didn't play him today. So they have plenty of good players and there's a bit of depth of squad. I think they're unfortunate to be missing Kulusevski, Solanke and Madison, who are three very good attacking players, and they're stronger than the ones who they've played today, who to me looked weak. But today, Stephen, isn't about them, about Spurs, about our Arsenal going to win the league after finishing second place 3 times. And on the evidence of what we've seen today, I think they will. They were very, very good indeed. Strong, rough, creative, inventive, playing with an intensity and a hunger that looked like they really want to do it this year.
And also crucially, Gabriel. They brought in Capier in as a centre back. Calafiori stayed on the left hand side. He could have played Christian Mosquera, but he decided to go with Capier. How do you think they survived? Like, it was a test of their mental strength, losing a leader from the back like that, so they've come through that well.
Yeah, I think I said in the build-up to the game there, he missed some games at the end of last season. It didn't affect him. The combination with him and Saliba is probably the best centre-back combination in the league. But you know, they brought in Kepi in today with good reputation, played well. Leverkusen when they won the league and the cup in Germany. Regular international for Ecuador, comes in, does the job as Mosquera has done when he has played. They got Ben White there, who was a bit more of a centre back playing right back, and now he's out with the team because Timber is playing so well. So they've got the depth that other clubs haven't got. They've got cover for every position of the pitch, and you see that particularly in the front positions where, like, Martinelli's been out, he's on the bench today. Havertz is out, not involved today. Madueke on the bench comes on today. Jesus, the centre forward, and Gyökeres, the centre forward. None of them, started in the game today, and yet the front three were rampant. Even though Marino's not a centre forward, so they've got real quality and real depth and determination to do it. And I think looking at them today, they'll do it this season, because the others are. Man City, I felt when we covered them, we beat Liverpool last game, we covered the 3-0. I kind of thought they looked like they could go on a run and win 10 games. Then they go to Newcastle yesterday and get done. So that inconsistency that's still there with Manchester City won't allow them to make up that gap against Arsenal, I think, the way things are at the moment, unless they start buckling. But today was a major test with Gabriel out and so many other players out in the attacking positions.
And just finally, the man of the moment, Brian, Eberechi, they brought him in for big money from Crystal Palace. His family are Arsenal supporters. He's an Arsenal supporter. He came to the club that he wanted to play for, his boyhood club. He got 2 goals earlier in the season. It was a double. Today he's got a hat-trick in the North London derby. Is this fella going to be a star for Arsenal, do you think, this season?
Well, I think so. Look at the reaction crowd today and the way he's performed. There's no better way to get yourself in the good books of supporters and get 3 against Spurs, that's for sure. So, look, they can see his quality. He's a brilliant player. They've got some really exciting young players here as well, young Nwaneri and Saka already playing the wing. There's a few more Downman on the bench.
Yeah.
They've some really quality attacking young players. But, he's 27 now. He's really matured. We've seen him at Crystal Palace in a lesser team, dragging them to a cup win last year in a very good position in the league when they started quite poorly last season, got themselves going. But he was at the heart of everything that Palace were doing last year. Big step up coming to Arsenal, more pressure, more teams playing against you low block. It's not like Crystal Palace where you're playing on the counter in a lot of games. He showed himself a bit of class today, and look, he looks like he's there and thereabouts to be in Thomas Tuchel's best team for the English team as well, which is great development for him, maturing a little bit late after going around a lot of, let's say, the lesser London clubs, not the Premier League clubs in the main, but he looks a hell of a player, as he has done for Palace the last 3 seasons, I'd say.
Great stuff, Brian. Thanks a million for that, and of course,
Thanks,
do
Steve.
tune into Off the Ball next Sunday for more live and exclusive Premier League commentary on Newstalk.